I really don't think you should watch this video, and I really didn't want to be right. I had prayed that I was wrong about this world, and you guys, there's just so much to say, and like this is going to be a deep one. Like I don't know if I don't think there's a point in splitting it up, honestly. I feel like I just have to say what it is because like, you know, you guys, I have been talking about all bunch of different topics on this channel for years now, right? We've talked about the entertainment industry, talked about the pharmaceutical industry, we've talked about the education industry, the business industry, the tech industry, we talk about the church, all the different various religions, we talk about life and living, we've talked about relationships, we've talked about friendships, we've talked about games and gaming, we've talked about nature, and like everything's just coming together in my mind that like there's like this truth in my face, right? That I just have been like, I feel like I've been desperately trying so hard to believe, like, God, there has to be another answer, like to why the world is the way that it is. Like there has to be another, like everything can't add up the way I'm thinking it's adding up. And you know what's crazy about this, you guys? It's the fact that obviously I teach maths and science, right? And what do I tell you guys? I realized that the reason why people struggle is because people struggle to think logically, right? And we're going somewhere with this. And we're taught to do the opposite, not in school, but in life. And so most people, if not everyone nearly, and I mean this, so I'm saying it's insane when I think about it, is in that position of like, doing so many illogical things just because that's what we do collectively. Now that might not seem like it matters, but actually that's exactly the problem, you guys, because that's why the world is going downhill. That's why we're looking like Sodom and Gomorrah. That's why the entertainment industry is the way that it is, and there's weirdos and Hollyweird, and there's this, it's all comes under the same umbrella. The world is a weird place because the world hates the truth. And the Bible literally says that people are haters of the truth. We are haters of the truth, right? And so let me just break this down. It's really hard for me to put this all together because like I said, it's everything that's happening simultaneously in my life. I was just watching a documentary about Drake and Josh. I went out in nature again, which I recorded another video, but again, there was something on my face. I don't know why there's always something on my face. Maybe it was dry skin, I don't know. I haven't uploaded that one yet because I'm second guessing if there's any point because I'm just yapping basically in the woods. But anyway, I saw a video by my favorite man of God, which I shared on the channel. And in the video, he was talking about how, you know, his hardest job in being a preacher is that telling people truths that they don't want to hear, but that he has to do it because biblically that's what his part of his role as a shepherd is like he has to be the one who will tell people the uncomfortable truths, right? Which on the flip side, and that was just one other thing that happened, right? Because I have his post notifications on, so I see all of his videos that pop up because I want to know everything this man has to say. And I was randomly watching another video again while I was working. I was chilling. I was planning on recording other videos today, not even this video. I was listening to this other video. This dude is talking about whatever the heck he's talking about, Drake and Josh, whatever. And then he says a statement at the very end, which was that like how people don't, what is it? A lot of times people will feel a certain way in a relationship. They won't say something because they feel like almost what would come of telling the truth, right? And I can't remember how he phrased it exactly, but it just hit hard, right? And it hit hard for so many reasons because I was thinking, this is the truth across the board with so many different things like in life and why the world is the way that it is. It's this aversion to truth, right? Like, so for example, the parents in the entertainment industry, a lot of them, right, the ones who saved their kids, they're either the ones, there's like 3 categories of the parents of how these kids, what goes on with these kids and these child stars. And it's depressing, right, guys? Because this started before I was even born. This is what I'm saying, that we've got issues. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's all these truths. I'm like, God, surely if everything looks like how I think it is, that means the generation above truly is just like cowards. I hate to say it, but like, and who have just been like the generations, I should say, plural, and have been so in bondage by just the sheer degree of illogical thinking, which produces the ability for manipulators to get away with things. Because that's essentially what the problem is. When we're not prepared to address a problem directly, right, it makes it easier for the perpetrators, because nobody wants to talk about it, because it's messy, because we should keep quiet, because you don't want to ruin the reputation of the this, you don't want to ruin the this of the that, you don't want to ruin Christmas, you don't want to say something about a leader, you don't want to lose your job for speaking up about the fact that this had happened to you. Whatever it is, you don't want to have to be the person to have to address this person head on. You don't want to be the person to have to come up against the system. And so every time we cower away, we make it easier. And then we just all then have these illogical things that we do. Like I'm saying, why is it that in society, the stronger you are, right, and the more honest you are, the worse your life is? This is why I say that being in this society is miserable for me, because the fact that I put my thoughts out there and I'm vulnerable and I'm honest means that people feel more comfortable to therefore critique even deeper, even though they themselves could never handle it. It's the same thing we see in the entertainment industry, right? Because now the difference between celebrities and influencers, people will be upset, people will be upset by something that an influencer does, right? Because you see the influencer. That's why I think people are stupid and dumb and dense. So I'm saying it's illogical. You'd be upset about seeing how somebody cooks in their kitchen on TikTok, but you'll be the same person who's just taking your children to McDonald's and you're not in those kitchens. You're not seeing where that meat came from. You're not seeing anything of anything. But there, you're not going and critiquing McDonald's. You're helping build their businesses. Like, you're not questioning what they're doing with whatever. You'll be upset with freaking Logan Paul, cryptos, whatever, and the Haktua girl doing her coin and all these crypto scams of people that you can see and critique, right? But then you'll be the same people desperate to go and work at JP Morgan Chase, right? So you can build his company, so you can go off on Epstein Island with all the kids that have gone missing and all this stuff and be doing whatever he's doing up there, not JP Morgan Chase, but the executives and whatnot, if you guys haven't seen. Like, that's why they're able to do it, because you want to turn the blind eye. When it's somebody that you can easily like nitpick at from a distance, I'm saying society is now cowards, right? Because now you can sit on the internet and you can judge somebody and not be held accountable, have somebody punch you in your face for what you're saying, right? So you're happy to sit there and critique. And do you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. Everything is pointing in the direction that everybody's just hiding everything. Everybody is living in shame. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's living in shame and everybody is hiding everything and everybody is scared of the truth. They're scared of the truth of themselves. They're scared of the truth of the world. They're scared of the truths. That's why when I come out here and I say the things that I say about to you all, this is what I'm saying, I'm realizing it's all hitting me. I'm like, God, could it really be this way? Like, is it really like this? Because that thought alone is giving me a headache. And it's actually kind of making me feel kind of like, just not despair, but like just like heartbreak. I don't know. Because I'm like, that's obviously the underlying, I say it all the time. How many times I say in my videos, we're all just dress up and we put on our costumes, but it's real. I'm not making it up. I'm saying that stuff and it's actually so true. People would rather with everybody's scared of rocking the boat. So even if it's like the Israelites, right? You know what I'm saying? It all connects. It's like the Israelites. The Bible's literally telling us, a book is telling us about ourselves and about the world. So the Bible's all about, right? He's telling us, like, the Israelites, they were enslaved, but they were more comfortable being enslaved because at least they knew where their food was coming from and they had shelter and they had whatever, same as people today. And so even if the people that are giving them those things are literally tyrants, right? Even if those people are literal predators, literal, prison guards, right? Literal slave masters. This is insane, right? This is insane. Like, even if that, right? You're still willing to go up for it because you don't want to rock the boat because you're scared of whatever. So you'd rather ignore the truth, right? So that when God comes in and he says, well, I created the universe and I can take you to the promised land and you don't have to live like this. No wonder the world doesn't want to hear from God. No wonder the world is godless, because that would take courage. That would take facing the truth. Like, being a Christian, like, to me, right? It doesn't mean what it means for so many other people. Other people use Christianity as a way to either play the blame game and look down upon others and sit in a place of pride. Because I was asking the Lord last night, right? It was like, I don't know what time it was, in the middle of the night. I was saying to the Lord, like, God, and I was, again, out in nature. I spent a lot of time outdoors. I've needed it, guys, because this has been like just like my own life and my own experiences is one thing. Like I can move on, but like seeing that I literally live in the world that is like this is the hard part. So I've been needing extra time in nature, like extra. So whenever I can, I be out. I be out there with the Lord amongst the animals and the creatures and whatever. Anyway, so and I was just thinking how funny it is about bondage, right, and spiders, because I hate spiders, right? And we're gonna come back to that in a minute, because there's actually so much wisdom in my there's so much wisdom, I feel like, in my experience and my thoughts of spiders and how other people look at them and the differences. Spiders, cats, and snakes. We should talk about that. Yeah, so what was I saying? I've got so distracted now because I'm thinking about how those are the only three animals. If I ever have, you see what I'm saying? All of this stuff I'm realizing, by the way, is making me realize that I definitely don't want to have children. Like I've been literally, like, you guys don't know how many times in the last couple of years I've literally thought about getting my tubes tied. People could be like, but you might regret it. You might regret it. Well, why would I bring any kids into this world with you people? Like, this is what I'm saying. This is the truth. If you want to hear the truth. You like this is actually perfect example. I forgot what I was saying, but this is actually perfect thing for me to talk about, right? I get people are upset when I talk about the fact that I don't want to have kids. Like, oh, but it's such a blessing, and It is not in this world, and not with the world as it is, not with the adult population the way the adult population is. Because you see what I think? I think it's selfish to bring a child into a world that you're not adding to, that you're not making a better place. You just bring your kids here, right? This is what I'm saying. These are things I didn't want to have to talk about. So I said I really didn't want any of this to be true because I didn't want to have to talk about it. I didn't want to have to think about it. But it's the truth. Why am I going to bring a child? Why am I going to bring a child into this world, right? In a world of adults who are supposed to be protected? Because this is, again, when people are talking about the entertainment industry, right? The thing I was going to say in the beginning, I know this is all over the place, guys, but I'm just trying really hard to get so much. And it's like everything is all like just swimming in my brain at the exact same time. So it's really hard to like try and articulate things through my mouth right now. Right? Because it's just like, I feel like I need like 8 mouths. And then like if each of them could like be talking about a different thing at the exact same time, and then we could reorder them somehow. I don't know, but I can't do that. Anyway. So I was saying in the beginning, right, there's 3 categories of what happens with child stars, right? You either have the child stars who go into the industry and end up coming out of the industry because of what happens, either because of their parent, right? So a lot of parents pull their kids out early. Or you have the child who goes in and is left without their parents a lot of the time. So unsupervised. It's this unsupervision. This is exactly the strategy of the devil. This was always the plan. This is why he had Adam and Eve all up in their issues, because Adam and Eve now are going to be against each other because now they got problems because you led me astray and now you're trying to dominate me. And now all you guys are busy having all your problems, which means who's left unsupervised? The children, the same as us now. The exact same as us now. And you know what? It never even occurred to me to think about until this exact moment. Where on earth was Adam and Eve when this whole situation was going down between Cain and Abel? There's a question. There's a question, right? Because surely, anyway, so, oh my gosh, especially because the first time we hear about the 2 of them is when, just prior to that, in the same exact passage of scripture, so I'm saying you could read the first 8 chapters of the Bible and that's all you had to have to understand enough. Right? It literally says, and then Adam knew his wife Eve and she produced a man. And she said she produced a man, which I thought was funny. Because imagine, that must have been insane. Imagine because you didn't know that pregnancy was a thing and all of a sudden you just, bloop, out comes a baby. So she produced a son, right? And then immediately after goes into the story about Cain and Abel. So I'm just thinking that God is writing, because God is intentional. This is what I'm saying. He does things in a certain order. Because like the wisdom of what he's saying is in you, and like, you need the Holy Spirit, guys. We need the Holy Spirit. And again, this is why the devil's working so hard for us not to have the spiritual things. Because if we believed in the spiritual things, and again, it's another illogicalness of society that I was thinking about yesterday. Why is it that we will think we know so much, and we now, who have been alive for however long, believe that all these other things were myths and fables, because that's what we've been taught, right? All these stories of all these creatures and all this this witchcraft and all the spiritual stuff, even though people believed in that for thousands of years, but now all of a sudden, we are now illogically just deciding that all of those people for all of those thousands of years were just wrong, right? or that they were just whatevers, but now we're right somehow. This is what I'm trying to say. It's the exact same thing like being a teacher. I'm telling you that this is how you need to, and this happened to me with one of my, because right now I'm not really teaching that much right now because it's Easter break. There's a couple of kids I'm helping out. One of them, because their parents asked, because the parents, they really panic, and then they get to my feelings, and they're like, please help, please can you help my son? Because anyway, so I was helping him, right? And I've said to him about 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 10,000 times, you need to read the entire paper before you do any of the questions, right? And I know that doesn't feel right, but who's the expert here? Me. So I gave him a paper to do, and I said, do it in the timing things, and we're going to talk about how this went. I go and ask him about doing the paper. What have you done? Tell me what you did. So I read so he says, so the paper was in front of you. What did you do? He immediately goes to the first question. I was like, so you went to the first question. Is that the first exact thing you did? Yes. Which he got stuck on. And then he stayed there and he said, I didn't know what to do. I didn't get to finish all the paper, blah, blah, blah. Even though I told him time and time again, I told the students time and time again, this is why I'm done with teaching, because I'm like, listen, if I can't help them from the beginning, they're too far at this point. It's too far. They're already like, that's why I'm saying my job is so depressing. Already their brain is already broken by this point, right? So he didn't do that. He got stuck on the first question, took forever doing the first question, to still have not written down everything he was thinking, even though I said, write everything you're thinking. Didn't do that. So he missed out marks of things he already knew. I did not teach him one single thing. Do you know how rare it is that I actually have to teach anything in my job as a teacher that teaches maths and science, particularly for maths? More so maths, because most of the stuff, if people just thought logically, it would make sense. This is what I'm saying. Like, people be like, oh, chemistry is so hard. And it would be this dumbest of things, right? Like, John pours hot water into a mug in what, I don't know, in the Sahara Desert. And then he does it the same thing in in Antarctica. He'd be like, well, explain the difference of what you'd expect of the temperature between the two. Well, I don't even, and then it's the most simplest of things, right? Just think logically. One place is hot, one place is cold. Whoop-de-doo, right? So that's what going to be the change in the temperature. I'm just making up an example on the spot, but you guys get the gist of what I'm trying to say. It's always things like this. We had in a situation, actually, this was chemistry. We weren't even doing maths, it was chemistry we were doing. And one of the questions, it was so simple. It was absolutely so simple. The answer was in the question. The answer was right there. The question was like, polybutene is used to insulate copper wire. Right, in order to extract the scrap copper wire, the insulation is removed. Then the question said, how can the scrap copper wire be used to make copper pipes? Yeah, this is something anyone can answer. This is a GCSE question. Anybody could do this. Anyone. He was stuck. Some of you probably stuck. Guess what? What do you do when you have metal in one form? I was like, have you ever played Minecraft before? Yeah. Think about that. Melt the wires, reform it into pipes. Oh my gosh, you guys see what I'm saying? It's so frustrating. And I realized that this is exactly the world we're living in. This is the world. You ask people what's x plus x. I don't know what x plus x is. How many x's you have? I've got 2 x's. X plus x is 2x. But then you'll be the best parrots, the best parrots of things that don't make any sense. That's just how Hollywood is. This is what a stable job is. That you must respect your elders because this. With age comes wisdom. No. With wisdom with age comes with age, because you just learn a lot of things the hard way. You just do a lot of trial and error. It's the same thing again, going back to the teaching. A lot of this stuff that people do, I tell them, don't try to guess. Never guess. Always have a reason. I would say never ever guess. If you don't have a reason, you don't have an answer. Guess. You may eventually get it. Just like in life, you just go around and you just try. Of course, by the time you're like 90, you're going to now have wisdom because you learned the hard way. But guess what? There's this thing called, you could have somebody or some way of getting there sooner, of gaining that wisdom earlier. That's what I believe. That's why I say, guys, seek wisdom by time. I say that all the time, right? You know what's supposed to do that? Wait for it. Parents. And that's why God is a father above all else. And that's why Jesus was the epitome of wisdom and the word made flesh, because he was the most obedient child Because the Bible says, this is what I'm saying. So I hate the thought of having children. I hate it. I never, because this stupid society, you think I want to throw them here? You think I want them to be here on this internet, in this world, on this planet, eating this food in these supermarkets, being born in these hospitals and these pharmaceutical idiots who want to just test things on you for whatever sick and twisted things they're doing with the other billionaires. And you think I want them to be around with your own sick children and making friends with them and to be leaving them with any of you sick people? No. You think I want to be sending them out into these churches where people would rather turn a blind eye if it's a man of God doing things, unless the world system indicts him, unless the world system does? Do you think for a second I want to bring my child into this place, into this hellscape? Seriously. And then do what? Send them into the indoctrination camps so it can be unsupervised. All the devil is a genius. All he had to do was get us to just constantly leave the kids unsupervised. Because then that's how, and then when they are supervised, make sure whatever is supervising them is working against them. Whether it's in the entertainment industry, whether it's in the schools. Do you know that 3 convicted pedophiles were hired by Nickelodeon? At the very beginnings? In the beginning. So there's those of us here in our young age 27, right, who've got applying for jobs, right? People are scrutinizing every little tiny thing about us. They're searching if you're on social media, what your social media is, and they're searching for this and they're searching for your name. They're Googling this, right? They can find every little thing about you. Just give them a reason. Oh, we don't like that you seem to be an extremist because you once upon a time tweeted a Bible verse, right? But convicted felons were just casually hired by Nickelodeon. Do you guys understand what I'm saying about this place is sick? And this is what I just did. I really, really, really hoped. I was like, God, please let this just let this not be. Let me be Delulu. Let me be the Delulu, right? Let me be the Delulu. But the truth is, Delulu is the Salulu in this world. It really is. Because that's what you people do here. I'm sorry. I've separated myself and the team, the winning team, that is. Shout out to the winning team. It really is. It really is. It really is. And I really avoid talking about this. This is what I'm saying. I really avoid talking about having children is the one thing I don't want to talk about ever in any capacity at all. I'm actually doing a series with a lady who's a doula. We're going to be doing on another platform and we're both talking about having kids. It's actually going to get really interesting. We've already done 2 talks for 2 weeks. So there'll be another one this week. Stay tuned. I'll tell you guys about that. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. Because we both have experiences of working in these fields. And it's so funny because I'm like, God, why do we have to talk about family all the time? Because I just want to talk about anything else. And then he's like, because everything starts with the family. And that's the truth. That's the truth. That's what I've come to realize. That's what I'm realizing is the thing that I didn't want to have to believe. That everything starts there and everything is extended from there. And if you think about it, it's true because we all might go to work. We all might go to do this, to hang out with friends. But everything stems from where did we come from? We came from our quote unquote homes. I use this like this because I don't think I've ever had a home. Like a home and what people mean as a home. Like when people talk about a home, a house, a place to live, an accommodation, yes. Yeah, so you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at all these things and I'm really this is why I really don't like to talk about this subject. And can I tell you know what's funny about it all? I wasn't even feeling that strongly about it until I really got into teaching in the last couple of years. That's when I like teaching in the school system, because before obviously I was doing other subjects and whatnot. And but now having been, and also because now I'm older, so I can see things differently. Like when I was doing things when I was younger, it was different. And I'm looking around and I'm like, can I be so honest? I really think that the good parents are the fewer and the far between these days. That's what I really feel these days. And because the world has made it easy for that to be the case, right? That's why when people just blindly say, oh, you should just have kids, it's the blessing, it's the biggest blessing that's ever going to happen. I really actually might just, I was listening to Chelsea Handler talking on Cancelled about how she, there's a treatment you can do that basically just prevents you from ever having a period or ever getting pregnant. And I was like, you know what? They basically just burn everything in there. I'm honestly really thinking about it. And people could be like, oh, don't do that. You might change your mind. Why would I want to change my mind? Do you know what it takes to change my mind? the world, people would have to stand up. The adult population would have to stand up against the injustices in the world itself. Not for me personally, but in the world. Because if the world is going to be, I'm never going to be able to do everything. I'm never going to be able to prevent my child from going through everything. And the world just keeps going further downhill. So as far as I'm concerned, they're better off with the Lord where they are now. They're safe right now. That's the point. He's not saying, and this is what I'm saying, people just say it because that's what's said, but you're not thinking about it. You like, this is what I was even having this conversation with, again, this doula. We were talking about, she's got, you can actually find her on YouTube. The Rare Doula is her YouTube channel. And it's technically my first collab. Shout out guys to my first collab. She was like, we were talking about this, about like planning and how me and her and how differently we're thinking about doing a lot of things based on our experiences. And I was saying to her that like, I wouldn't even, what's the word? I would have to have a doula, like whoever's going to help me birth my child, right? Before I even get pregnant. Like that's how far ahead the preparation has to be. Like, and even the Bible says, let's talk about this, right? While we're talking about having kids. You know, the Bible says about having kids, it says that parents are supposed to set their children up with an inheritance for 2 generations ahead. 2 generations ahead. 2 generations. But again, we don't talk about this, right? We don't talk about the thing which makes sense, right? Because if you think about it, this, I think God is genius. If you do that, then your child that comes already has their inheritance. They already have the inheritance for their children, but then they work on the inheritance for their children and the children after, which means the inheritance is always just like compounding, and it's actually genius. And then no one ever has to worry. Because I think about this as well all the time. Like people be like, oh, I have kids. I'm like, do you know how exhausted I am by having to figure out everything by my damn self? I'm exhausted now. What do you think I'm sitting here? Like, there's so many things I would want to do, like, you know, blah, 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 blah. I'm exhausted of having to figure all this stuff out. So you want me to just bring my child into this world when I don't even have the things to make sure that they're set up so they can be exhausted like I am. So they can have to be figuring everything out on their own like I do. So they have to be doing, do you know what I'm saying? So they can be exhausted, and then all that people have to say is, oh, that's just how life is. Again, logical. No, it's not how life is. It's how we've created for it to be. It doesn't have to be this way. We've made it this way. That's the truth. We collectively as humans with our free will have made it like this. Again, why are we all panicking about paying rent and paying this and paying that and paying for where you live? When the Lord wanted us to be the Lord of our land, and now we have landlords. God wanted to take us out of Egypt so we could be self-sustaining, and now we just keep running back to dependency. We keep running back to God gave us the whole entire nature that grows all these things. I was looking at all this stuff growing out in the nature while I was out there, so I love to be out there and just see the things that grow naturally, you know what I mean? And I was looking at, oh, what's this growing here? What's that growing here? And I was, you know, and all this stuff. But now, no, we're worried about going to our jobs because we need to go to the supermarket to buy groceries. When the animals are literally there free. And the fish and the vegetables and the fruits and the everything growing for free. But somehow we have become so enslaved that we allow somebody else to charge us to get those things, right? It's so dumb and dense and stupid. This is what I'm saying. This is the curse of Adam as well, by the way. But that's a conversation for another day. So then now we are like needing to this, we need that. We're exhausted trying to look after ourselves. We've got no time. Like I heard somebody say, and this is when these are the things when I hear them, I'm like, this is like, I have so many, everything is a final straw for me right now. Every single straw is a different kind of a final straw for me right now with everything happening in the world, right? This guy was saying, as adults, it's normal that you only get to see like some of your closest friends once a year. So what are we doing this all for? Because this is what I've been saying to God. I'm like, God, what are we doing any of this for? Why are we saying to have kids? Why are we furthering our existence as humans if we're spending all of our time to get basic survival for the most part? We have not as much anywhere near as much time as we would like to spend with the people we actually want to. And then, I was not even going to talk about it in this video, but I'll talk about this in maybe the next video. As I'm going to wrap this one up soon because I don't want it to be too long, right? Because I'm just going to get everything off my chest today. To be honest, this is going to be, I'm just going to, for the next however long, until I have nothing left to say, I'm never going to have nothing left to say. Let me remind myself, hold up. This is a conversation I've been having with the Lord, like, God, seriously, what's the point? Like, if like, why have we just normalized that? Like, why have we just accepted that we say we're great? Like, because people will come up with me when I say that I'm not happy to be alive. I'm not grateful. I don't wake up grateful to be here. Because what am I grateful for? I don't get to spend the time doing the things that I would like to do. I don't get to spend the time around the people that I would like to spend my time around. I'm spending my time on all the things that I hate doing. For the most part, I get a little trickle, a little treat. So we've literally normalized slavery as a society. You spend most of your time doing the things you don't like so that you have barely any time to do the things that you do like, if you can afford to do them, if they're even good. And then if you become a victim to anything in this world, the chances are the jury of the sheeple is going to side with, if it's the Christians, you just need to forgive, just forgive, and then sweep everything under the carpet. If it's the world, you shouldn't talk about that. It's messy. They come from a generation of this. We all come from a generation of everything, guys. I'm sick. This so-and-so's first time. Listen, it's all of our freaking first time. And I got to the point where, listen, some of us just decided to make different choices. And why do we not get any credit for that? Why is it that, this is so-and-so's first time, so we just sweep that to the side, but we have no acknowledgement for those of us who decided not to continue doing the same things? It's like this whole notion of people in society being like, we need more people like this in the world. Be the person. Do you think there's just a factory of good people that comes out? And then every now and then, like, people come out and then, just the same way that people look at... So it's almost as if what we're saying is that it's like a scale, right? The scale of good person down to predator. And it's a bell-shaped curve. And everybody's in the middle where they're not really a good person and they're not really... Because that's actually what we're basically saying is as humans, right? That no one's really that good, but not that bad and not that good in the middle. And then there's a very small group of people who are the really good ones, and there's a very small group of people, the really bad ones, which is just not true, because the truth is everything is about choice. Everything comes down to choice. That's what I learned in the Bible. That's what I learned in life. People who do certain things and the way that they do things is because they made the choice to do it. That's like when people say, so-and-so is so lucky to have this person, or to so-and-so lucky to this. No, they're not freaking lucky. Can I tell you guys a story that really ticked me off about this whole luck thing, right? And this is why I get ticked. One of the many times people told me I've been lucky, and I was not lucky. I worked damn mother freaking hard, right? So when I was like 15, I remember this guy that I liked said that he commented me and said I was chubby. Thank God, right? Again, this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning about why sometimes telling people the things they don't want to hear is actually the best thing for them. But and this is one of my favorite Bible verse. I'm actually going to get tattooed on my neck. Like, I would like to get it tattooed like on my neck at this point. It says first, little children, let us love not just in word, but in deed and in truth. And by what you do and through truth, you love people by being honest with them. Going back to what I was saying about what Marcus Rogers was saying in his video about how as a preacher, he has to be honest. Sometimes I tell people things that they don't want to hear because it's for their betterment. So this guy says to me, he says he thinks I'm chubby, right? So I was like, I never thought about it, and no one had ever critiqued me, because a lot of people won't, right? They won't tell you, because I'm the type of person where if you're somebody who's close to me and I feel like there's something that you're doing that's like not for the best for your overall health, I will say something in a very nice way, right? And because I want you to be the best version of yourself, and I know you're going to be happier on the other side, even if you might feel uncomfortable in the minute, right? And again, this is why I don't want to make relationships with people, because people don't act like that and people don't tell you the truth. So again, even at the time, I was actually upset. I was like, wow, you're the only person who actually said something, like, and I was actually so appreciative. And again, the world would think, oh no, that was going to go down so wrongly because she's a woman. Again, that's just how we ruin things for ourselves as women sometimes, and as a world, is that we become so sensitive. And that's why I don't like the world in general, again, because everybody's so freaking sensitive to everything, right? But anyways, this guy says this, and I was like, really? And I never thought about it. So I was like, you know what? So then I went and I worked out, right? I started working out, I went to the gym, you guys. So I got into shape and I ended up with near abs. So like you could just see like the little, if I could be bothered, I would really put a photo here because I have a before and after, but I can't be bothered. Maybe I'll post it. You know what? Maybe I'll post it on the community tab. I'll do that. Because I can't be bothered to edit. You guys know if I start editing, the video's not coming out. So he said that. So I was like, right. So I got my life together, right? Now there's an element to, because somebody then goes on to call me lucky. So I've slimmed down. I lost a lot of weight. I don't know how much weight I lost, but I lost a lot of weight. And here's what my workout regime was like, right? So this is me at 16 now, right? Because because I'd started working because I was paying for my own gym. So this is my regime, right? So I'm still at school full time, mind you. I'll wake up in the morning at 6:00 and go to the gym, right? I would do 45 minutes on the treadmill, 45 minutes on the cross trainer. That was my cardio. And I would always do enough cardio to burn at least 1,000 calories. I know that sounds stupid, but it's actually what I did. So I'd always find a way, like between the two machines, to burn 1,000 calories. I want you guys to understand how, because what I'm telling you is this is not healthy. But you're going to come to why it was such a slap in the face when people are telling me that I was lucky after the fact, right? This is why I can't stand this place. So that would be the start of my workout. Then I would always do the trio, the abs, arms, ass. That was my trio of workouts. And I would do like circuits for each body part, right? So I picked 3 or 4 different exercises to do, and then I would do like it would start out at the beginning. I started out doing like 20 each, 3 rounds, right? Doing all of them. But then it got insane because I was just pushing and pushing. So I'd start to do like 50 reps per thing and then do like 5 rounds. So I was doing these things in the hundreds, like it was stupid, right? Anyways, and then my eating schedule was like I would only eat a total of 1,000 calories. It was insane, right? But the thing is, I did it. The point is not to say that anybody should do it. The point is to say that me losing the weight wasn't a luck thing. I didn't wake up with the body that I had. This is why now, like, I don't mind having a little bit of this and a little bit of that on my body. Anyways, I feel like I look more like a woman and less like a child because I already am childlike qualities, you know? So anyways, so I'm doing all of this. So I did this. So it just got insane. And like, sometimes I would go to the point where like, if I would come to the gym afterwards, like, cause I would work out 6 days a week as well. 6 out of 7 days a week, I would go to the gym. Right. And so one day I was out shopping with somebody that I knew very well, right? And I put on this dress and I looked banging. I'm not going to lie. I looked banging in that dress, right? I actually have a picture of that dress. I really need to get into editing because this is just... Anyway. And then this person says to me, who knows full blown well, right, that how I eat and how I'm training and everything. You're so lucky to have a flat stomach. I'm so lucky. My friend, I would like to see you do 10th of my workout regime. This is what I mean about the world and ignoring the observable truth. Like, I just was way harder working and more disciplined. I would like to see anyone who wants to comment on the luck of anybody's body do like 10% of what I just described. Because that's what I did. And this is what I'm saying about the world and how silly the world is when people think that things just come out from nowhere. It's choices. It was a choice for me to set my alarm and to wake up every day before school to go to the gym. And to be at school and when my friends are buying pizza in the cafeteria and they're buying this and that and I'm munching on a carrot and I've got all of my snacks that are all like between like 0 to 50 calories or something, or maybe 100 calories. And I would only snack throughout school. So I never had an actual meal in school either. I would only eat dinner at the end of the day. Discipline. That was a choice. I'm not saying it was good. I'm just using it as a description of what I'm trying to say about everything else. So no, it wasn't luck. And no, the world doesn't just become, we just have just randomly lucky people. We don't just randomly have, randomly we have predators, randomly we have good people. Everything comes down to a choice. Just like kids, having a child is a choice. This is why when adults try to act like, oh, it's so hard being a parent and this, I get it. It is a hard job. It is. And so is being married. Guess what? Both of those are the choices that you made. So before you make those choices, maybe think a little bit more. Maybe don't villainize those of us who are thinking more than maybe you did. Maybe when you went through what you did and whatever happened in your life, that should have been the sign for you to think more. As opposed to just sweeping things under the carpet and doing what everybody else is doing because I'm just another slave. Slaves. I think it's funny. I actually find it funny that people talk about, like especially black people, when blacks were slaved by, everyone's a slave right now, my friends. Everybody been slaves to the same, and I'm not even going to get into by who, because ain't nobody ready to hear the truth anyway. This is what I'm saying, Lord, just let me, just take me away from this place, because people don't want to learn. They don't want to do better. That's what I've learned. People don't want to learn, they don't want to do better. They want to find a way to be the most comfortable slave. They just want to upgrade their slavery package. It's like what that happens in prisons. Like if you behave well enough in prison, then you get more perks. Oh, this stuff makes me sick to my stomach. So yeah, guys, I really had to get that off my chest anyway. Like, I've got so much to get off my chest. Like, I've been trying to make other videos. I'm enjoying doing the Timothy series. I want to do this deliverance series. I want to do this other things. I just got a book about Buddhism, which I think would be fun to look at, and a book about, like, there's so much I want to talk about and so many things, but I'm just like, every single waking moment, every single thing that I do is a reminder of everything I've just said in this video. When I go out and I'm seeing that month after month, it's the next thing, it's the next thing. It was Christmas, it was New Year's, it was Valentine's Day, it was Mother's Day, now it's Easter. Every single time there's a new celebration in the freaking supermarket. And of course, the jury of the sheeple, who already barely has any money and barely any time, right, is going to go, and from the companies that they work for, where they're building somebody else's dream, somebody else's business, and somebody else's promised land, you're now going to go and take the little spoils from your toils of your slavery, and you're going to go and reinvest that back into these gimmicks. Because again, all these celebrations, why are you celebrating Easter? Why are you celebrating, Valentine's Day? Why? Because again, I was thinking about Easter. I was thinking yesterday or the day before, I was thinking, I don't need to make a big kerfuffle about Easter, because I think about the fact that Jesus was resurrected every day. It's like when people say that about Valentine's Day, like, why do you need to have one day where you do all of this? And then again, all these days, they just cause issues with us as humans. People are stressed. People are having arguments because that person only spent £200 on me on Valentine's Day, and they should have spent 500. You know what I mean? Or if it's Mother's Day, this person didn't do this, and this person feels appreciated. This person didn't feel appreciated. You know what I mean? Or it's Easter, you know what I mean? And like every single thing is just excuses for us to have more, it's just ways to more amplify the true human nature. And this is why I say, like, there's no one is good other than Christ. This is the truth. We all need Christ. This is why I'm a believer of Christ, because I'm like, literally alone, we are screwed without God. We are godless. We are a godless world. And even the Christians think they figured it out. The Christians, a lot of them are godless too. You're just following a religion that makes you feel better. You just like it. A lot of Christian people, I realize, they like to just feel better than the world. I don't want to feel better than the world. I don't need it. There's nothing to gain in me feeling better than the world. I would rather not, because actually that's a lot of pressure. So no, I'm not excited to be here. I don't want anything to do with any child. I've always wanted to have children. That's the sad thing. When I was 16, I wanted to have 9 kids, And now it's just like, the cons so far outweigh the pros. In particular, the fact that this is just an unsafe world, and there's not even like a safe environment, like, of people that are trusted, because everywhere you go, there are problematic people, and we just say, oh, well, those things are going to happen. Well, guess what? I'm at the stage where I don't have to even open the door to that. And I'm at a stage where I'm realizing that as time goes on, it's not that people try to fight back more and more. It's that people just become more and more obedient to slave masters, to prison wardens, right? To predators. They just become more and more obedient to them. So no. So from what I'm seeing, from the trajectory, when 20 years from now, when my kid is an adult, if I had a child now, right? Everything I'm saying now is only going to be 100 times worse. So why would I do that? That's the trajectory. And again, the law of entropy, which is literally the law of entropy. And that's why I believe entropy started with Adam and Eve. The law of entropy states the universe is moving closer to disorder. What happened as soon as Adam and Eve? And what happened? Why was it all Adam and Eve? And why does everything go back to Adam and Eve? And why do I keep saying everything goes back to Adam and Eve? It's because the devil knew that there's only 2 things he needed to do in order for him to actually destroy us forever. There's only 2 things. 1, separate us from God. 2, separate men and women. Boom. Because as long as that's happened, we're going to be in a perpetual cycle of destruction, and it's only going to get worse. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what else to tell you. I figured it all out. I have figured it all out. I figured it out. I figured it all out. And like, the only problem is that trying to explain this to anybody, I just feel like it's just a waste of time, because it's so embedded. This is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about bondage and like demons and stuff today as well, because I'm going to talk about this: snakes, spiders, and cats. I'm going to tell you why those are the 3 creatures my children would never be allowed to have. Because there's wisdom. And you see, the same way you're probably thinking, people say all these phrases, they're more afraid of them than you are of you, oh, they're harmless. Let's talk about that again, the illogicalness of it all. Because I was thinking, isn't it funny how I go out in the woods? I hate spiders. I go out in the woods and I never see spiders. You know why? Because they're so good at hiding, and they only appear when you're in a weakened state. Just like the serpent, just like cats. They seem not that bothersome, but they are some of the most vicious, heinous creatures, because they're the creatures that always come to seek to get you when you least expect it. Because why? Because they get you like if you're asleep, when you're whatever. Snake can bite you when you don't even see them. They wait for the poison to kill you so they can come and eat you. Same with spiders. They hide, they lurk. And they only appear when you're like asleep or whatever, and then they're gonna do the same thing. Or even cats. Think of all the creatures. This is why I have so many experiences with spiders and things and cats and things, because I'm also lurking at the same time. So they're kind of looking at me like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, what are you, like, me and the cats actually be having that interaction. Like, the other day, there's this one cat that looks like, that always like turns to me like this. And I'm like, excuse me? What do you mean? Who are you looking at? Because the cat's thinking humans aren't around at this time. This is our time. This is our time to lurk and do whatever we're doing. This is our time to be doing the seances with the witches and the warlocks in the nature, like I told you guys about. But anyways, I'm going to leave that there because she could go on forever. Anyway, you all guys, I feel really despaired today. So I'm going to try really hard after I finish making these videos to like really just have a pick me up, because this is just so dark. Like, this place is so dark. Like, this is actually hell. I truly would describe this as a believer who's received Jesus Christ. This is the closest I'll ever get to hell, and boy, it is hell. It is hell here. Anyway, if life's a game, let's play to win, you guys. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And see you in my next one.